All right, are there people here? Hey,
Yes, we are
everybody.
here.
All right, so I'm going to get started then. So, today we're going to talk about strategizing your next promotion. Everybody wants to get promoted. At least I hope you do. You really want to own your career. You want to move forward. And the question is how to do that. A lot of people aren't sure about what it is that they need to do and how do you get your next promotion. So for those of you who I haven't met, my name is Sim Zacks. That's Sim like the card in your cell phone. Um, I'm a distinguished engineer. I work for the Data and Operations Group, which is a centralized team providing tools, methodologies, workflows to the whole QE department. My role is as a QE architect, and what that means is I work with multiple teams across the whole department to solve common issues um, and push us towards executing on the Red Hat strategy. I've been at Red Hat for 7 years. I work out of the Israel office in Israel for the past 18 years. I came from the US. I enjoy collaborating and meeting new people. And if you're interested in chatting or meeting for virtual coffee, find me on Google Chat. So the first question is, what is strategy? Right? You want to strategize your promotion. What is strategy? Right? So strategy is, first of all, coming up with a question of what is it that I want to do, and figuring out what is the best answer for that and how should I go about doing it, right? So here we have this question of, should I go to work in the morning, right? And it's a fairly obvious question. Should I go? Shouldn't I go? So you build a pro and a con list, right? Yes, I should go because I only have a certain number of vacation days. I want to prove myself and earn that promotion. If I don't go, I'm going to miss all of the office gossip. What are you talking about today? Your workload will pile up. But on the other hand, I've got a really annoying boss. I hope she's not online now. No, I'm just joking. My boss is awesome. But that might be a thought that you have. I don't like the tasks that I'm doing. There's too much traffic, and I would really much rather go to the beach today, right? So every morning you might have this conversation with yourself internally of what is it that I want to do. And if this is a one-time thought, you might actually want to consider staying home. However, if this is an internal debate that you have regularly, you already know that if you want to be able to continue to pay your rent, you need to keep your job. This is a very, very simple decision that you have to make. You want to keep your job. Every day you have to go to work, unless you plan on taking off. But often the decisions aren't as clear cut. How should I respond to an email? Should I consider looking for a new job? I think my manager made a poor decision. Should I do something about it? And what? Should I tell my spouse about something that is really annoying me? How do you make decisions and decide upon a course of action? More importantly, life is often like a choose your own adventure book. Tomorrow's reality, as well as that of the future, will be based on the decisions made today. If you want to give yourself a high-level view of the decision, as well as the potential or likely ramifications, you have to make use of strategy. So what is strategy? There's a number of different ideas that you have to take into account when you're making your strategy, right? Determination. Your determination to achieve your objective must be greater than the forces in play to prevent it. So there's always things that are going to be standing against you, because otherwise it would just be easy to accomplish everything. And you have to decide, is this worth it for me? And do I want it more than the pushback that's coming for me? They say that timing is everything. The same actions that you do will have different effects depending on when they're done. Environment that's the field that the game is being played on, and right, and our entire lives is basically a game that we're playing on a field. You have to know the people involved and how they react to different stimuli. You have to understand the possible pitfalls and risks, determine who will help you and who will oppose you. You have to have a direction, develop a vision of not only the specific objective that you want to achieve, but also everything that surrounds it. Show leadership by taking responsibility. Build a support system of both people who mentor you, as well as people who you mentor. And finally, you need to know how you're going to accomplish what you want to do. Write an implementation plan that includes the objectives and all the obstacles that you believe are blocking you. Go through all of the obstacles one at a time and determine what needs to be done to mitigate them. So now we're up to the idea of promotion. What do I want to be, right? How do I want to get there? What are the requirements of that job? What am I willing to do to get there? So you've been working at the same job for a few years, and you would now like your promotion. There's a position open that you're qualified for with a higher salary and greater responsibilities. What should you do? So if you only start working towards this promotion when you see the open position, you are already far too late. Let's start a year earlier. You decide that you would like to advance in your career, and you look at our 5 concepts. So the first thing we said was determination. It's a good idea to pick a set of roles that you're going for instead of just one specific one, because that will raise your chances of getting chosen for one of them. So you don't just say, I want to be the person in charge of OpenStack networking, unless that is your only career goal. But you might want to say, I want to be a team lead in a bunch of different groups. I want to be a senior principal engineer. I want to be a manager, right? And if you look at a bunch of different roles that are possible, maybe I want to be a project manager, but I don't care which department I'm working in. So that gives you a lot of different options. Remember, there are always going to be multiple candidates for every position, and you need to stand out. Now, that one specific position that you might have your heart set on might already have somebody who's there who's not planning on leaving, or there might be somebody who's more qualified who's going to take that, and you want to be able to stand for a different position that you're also qualified for. The more that you are willing to do will ensure that people think that you're the obvious choice, the better chance that you're going to have. Timing. They say location, 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 but really timing is everything. The best time to present yourself as a candidate for a new position is after a noteworthy success. People expect success to breed success. You need money to make money. On the other hand, if your department or team has recently had some setbacks, even if they're not directly related to you, it would be wise to take a step back and wait for it to blow over. You don't want to present yourself as the candidate when people are thinking negatively about the group that you're part of. You do want to present yourself when people are thinking that group is doing an awesome job. When it comes to environment, the environment, as I said, is the playing field. And in order to play the game, you have to know the rules. What are the qualifications for the positions that you're interested in? What experience and or education do you need to qualify? Who are the decision makers for these jobs? Who among your colleagues do you see as competition? Does your manager support your aspirations? Are there additional tasks, work groups, or initiatives that you can volunteer for that will get you noticed by decision makers? Are you working with the latest technologies and or knowledgeable about where the market is heading, right? So if a specific type of job requires a bachelor's degree and you don't have a bachelor's degree, if you want to get to that level, then you start planning 4 years earlier and you start taking those degrees, right? If you know that there's somebody else who is going to be going for the same job, learn all you can about that person. What is he good at? What are you good at? How are you going to get ahead? And what do you need to do? What do you need to learn today in order to push yourself forward? Leadership or direction. Let's say you actually get the promotion that you want, right? Everything is good. You get the notification. You are now the senior leader of some group. What are you going to do? Can you envision the position a couple of years after you get the promotion, right? This is what the position is today, but obviously you want to take that position and take it somewhere. What are you going to do to make it better? Developing a vision is a great way of understanding what you have to offer the position, right? You can write down where I want to go with this. I understand what the group is doing, and I know that if I took leadership, I'm able to do X, Y, and Z. If I get that promotion, I can go and further the cause, and I can show a lot of value. Not only writing the vision, share it with your manager and suggest that you work on it together. Your manager should be your partner in these sort of things, not somebody who opposes you. This is somebody who you can work with in order to further both yourself and the people above you. So share credit with the people above you and also your peers and or underlings. You don't want people to think that you're the only one who is doing the work. Whenever I hear that from people, it makes me think, you're missing the point. I want somebody who can work with other people, who is strong enough to take other people with them. And so the more you share credit, the more people respect you. When you collaborate, make sure everyone is recognized. You're showing strong leadership. And you're not expected to know everything on your own. Ask people for advice. More experienced people will love to tell you how they advanced in their careers. Less experienced people will be excited that you're asking them and may have more knowledge or experience than you in specific areas. So if there's a new technology out there and there's an intern on your team and you've got 20 years of experience, but they know how to do something such as have two containers talk to one another. How do you set up networking in containers? You go to the person who's an expert in that, who has 20 years less experience than you do, and you say, can you explain this to me? They will be super excited to help you with that. Don't cut other people down. There's plenty of room on the totem pole, and people will remember you. And always remember, respect must be earned. It's not something that you just grab. You're not born into it, right? We're trying to change the word meritocracy in Red Hat, but until we change it, open leadership is great. You should be judged on your ideas and not judged on who you are. So earn that respect by treating everybody properly. And it's important to have a plan to implement, right? You don't just want to go and get somewhere. You want to actually plan it out and know how you're going to get there. One idea is if you're looking at, right, in Red Hat, we have competencies. And in QE, we've just revised all of those competencies. Oded led the group. I participated. And we wrote up a number of different examples for all of the different levels. And what would be good for you to do is to go through, especially if you want a promotion and it's based on these competencies, write up a gap report. Look at all of the competencies for the next level of where you want to go and say, this is, I'm strong in this area. I'm less strong in that area. What do I have to do? And once you write up a gap report of what you're missing in those things, then you're able to come up with an implementation plan for how to cover those gaps. That doesn't mean you have to cover every single gap. You're never going to be able to do everything that's on that list. But you do have to know what you're strong in, what you're weak in, and some of the things that you might say, you know what, I'm never going to be able to do that one, or in the next few years, I'm not going to do that. So I'll put that to the side and I'll focus on some of the other ones that I can move in the right direction of. Now, the more you write down, the better understanding you will have of what needs to be done. Right? It's easier to implement a plan that's written than if you keep everything in your head and hope that you're going to be able to get this done correctly. Checklists are marked down after hard work, right? So if you have a checklist, this is what I want to do, you can mark them all down. Make sure your accomplishments are noticed, but don't be a braggart, right? You can easily let people know what you're doing. One way of doing that is to CC people on emails. So if you want your manager to know what you're doing, when you send an email to somebody, CC the manager. If you want to, let other people know what you're doing, CC them or invite them to a meeting. I had a meeting recently where we were talking about something that I knew Tim Kramer, the Senior Vice President of Engineering, was interested in it. I invited him just out of the blue, and he came. People notice what you're doing if you let them know, but don't start bragging about it. Everybody hates a braggart. Plans should not be written in stone. As they say, no battle plan ever survives contact with the enemy. Life is very dynamic, and you need to be able to see a few steps ahead so that you can keep turning in the right direction. Each situation or job promotion is going to have its own unique challenges. These steps should enable you to develop a strategy for any situation. And once again, if you'd like to talk, I'm always available on chat and by email, and I'm happy to meet for virtual coffee. And I wish you all a lot of luck in your future promotion strategizing. Let me know how it goes. And that is everything that I've got.
Okay, so thank you, Sims. A nice presentation, and I didn't see any questions in the Q&A panel. And we can wait 1 minute, and while the time we wait for the new questions, I heard from Irena that she have some questions for Sims.
Hi, Sim. Thank you so much for some presentation. I don't see you anymore on the camera. Are you still with us? Hi.
Yeah,
Great. So I have a couple of questions. If you can share your personal experience, how early did you have strategy on your career? What if someone is realizing they don't have any strategy? Is it too late to put one on and start changing your career?
I won't say it's never too late to start strategizing your career, but you do have to have enough time to accomplish your goals. And what I typically tell people to do, and this is difficult to fathom, is to think 20 years in advance. Where do I want to be in 20 years? And it doesn't have to be 20 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 5 years. And then start saying, what do I have to do today in order to get there? Now that goal in 20 years will very likely change as the time goes on, because you might think today I want to be a vice president, but in a few years you might decide that you want to be work in an organization that helps poor people, or you might say, you know what, I've decided I don't want to be in technology anymore. But the goal of setting a end goal is that you can now do direction. And so if I know where I want to be in 20 years, in 10 years, what do I have to do in order to be there, right? So if I want to be a director, do I have to start in management? My next job moves into management, right? So I'll start as an associate manager because I want to be a director. If I want to be a distinguished engineer eventually, then I'm not going to go into associate manager. I want to move up to be a principal engineer. And so anytime in your career, you can start saying, what do I want to be in the long-term future? And now what do I have to do tomorrow in order to get to the next step that will put me in that direction?
Thank you, Sim. And we have one more question from Amita. Nice presentation, Sim. You mentioned that wait till the group we belong to have a good time and not recent negative impression. How do you get that info? Not possible all the time. How large this group we are talking about?
So first of all, the group that we're talking about is whatever group you are currently part of that you want to move up in. So if you're part of a team, let's say you're part of, I'm not going to mention any specific product names because then I'd get in trouble because I don't really know. But let's say you're part of product A on the networking team, and you're the head of performance engineering, and 30 bugs just came in from the customer about performance. That is the wrong time to say, I'm doing really, really well. I would like a promotion. On the other hand, if you just got, kudos and stuff that there haven't been any performance issues recently, and you say that is something doing really well, then you do want to do it. Now, if QE as a whole is doing poorly, and you want to push yourself as a leader of QE and you want to move out of QE, then that would not be the right time to do that, because there's now people are looking at QE and saying you're really, really helping the organization and you want to push yourself as a leader of QE, then you can say, look, I'm one of the leaders here and they're doing a great job, so therefore I am a representative. So you're representing whatever small group you're part of that is as it relates to the other groups. Does that answer the question?
Amita, please let us know if you're satisfied with an answer. Sim, thank you. Maybe meanwhile, one more question from me. What if there is a feeling that the strategy really doesn't work and probably there is like a failure, and you get and you lose all the motivation probably?
Sorry, Amita. Sorry, Irina and Sim. Maybe we only have 1 minute left, so the next session needs to be prepared 5 minutes before the session. So there is a hallway. So maybe I will talk there. I will provide the link here. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Sim.
All right. I will join the hallway.
Yeah, this one's the hallway, so you can join the hallway. Okay, so thank you, Sim. Thank you, Irina. So, bye-bye.